Hey folks, welcome back to the Portable Gamer. Welcome back to European Truck Simulator. Welcome back to Paris. And we're just getting ready to start our trip down the coast. So I'll tell you a couple things and we'll get started. First thing is I did tweak the color a little bit on the skin. So we are closer now. We're not nearly as dark as we were. I realized the problem was there is a metal flake layer, a transparent metal flake layer that gives you the iridescence, and it does alter the color just slightly. So this is what I've done so far. I may continue tweaking the skin, and what I would have to do then is make our color lighter than it is in real life, and when a metal flake layer is applied it would take it back down to exactly our color. Haven't done that yet. It's going to take a little trial and error, but we'll work on it. So that's one thing. The other thing is I have gone ahead, and yesterday I was talking about Reshade and SweetFX. Well, I went ahead and pulled the trigger on that. I finally found a package that I think I like. So we're in after right now. It's on. I'll go ahead and turn it off. That's how we were running. That's what our game render looked like. So this is before and this is after. Before and after. I like it, and I'll get us on the road and then we'll talk a little bit more. And before I forget, we're going to Roscoff. Right. Face tracking is on. Wow, sensitive. Okay. Face tracking is on. Brake is on. Brake is off. Right, here we go. So I made a TSW vid yesterday, Great Western, and I was talking about Reshade and SweetFX, and I was talking about how some of the packages seem really not realistic. The lighting seems really exaggerated and kind of over the top, and I wasn't I wasn't 100% sure how I felt about that. And you know, sometimes in advertising, sometimes in art, you have to do things that, try not to hook the trailer, you have to do things that are wrong so that they look right. Why is it so sensitive? I feel like it's not tracking accurately, and we get that jumping. One more problem to solve. I love it. So sometimes in art and design you have to do things that are wrong so they look right. And a good example, not that you're actually going to do this, but if you go out, if you look around the world as you move about, you'll see a lot of signage and exterior advertising, they call it. Signs. You see signs everywhere. If you look at those signs, if you actually kind of study them, as you do when you're an art student, you realize that a lot of them are, for lack of a better word, they're wrong. They're mathematically wrong, they're geometrically wrong, but they look right, which is what matters. Carefully. That's what matters, is that everything looks right when it's done. So let's say you have a sign on a restaurant. When you drive by, it should look like that sign is right above the front doors or wherever the owner and the ad agency decided that it ought to be. But if you look, if you measure, you may find out that it's off to one side or the other. You may even find that it's not level, intentionally. Because then from the highway, it looks right, which is what we're after. So it has to be wrong to look right. And that's what I've been kind of curious about with these Reshade preset packages, is some of them look exaggerated, for lack of a better word. But then I guess I get to thinking, are even the ones that I like, are they exaggerated too? And I'm just okay with it because I like them. So this package that I got, I feel like it's pretty subtle. It's not really blown out, but I do feel like it changes the levels enough that it gives it, to me, it gives it a more realistic look. But we'll see. Also curious how night looks. Although we've been trying to do less nighttime videos. Now here we go. Headed down the coast to Roscoff, and then we're headed sort of southwest. And once we get to Roscoff, I guess you could say we would be headed then due south and just drop straight down to that area around Bilbao, across the frontier, into Spain, deliver something in Bilbao, and then we'll make our way east. Oh, this is really disorienting. It's wow. It's shaking my camera, which is causing me to, I have no idea why it's doing that, but I am going to have to figure it out before it makes us both seasick. Yeah. You know, I want the face tracking to work. I really do. But I can't justify it, I guess, if it's not going to be any more accurate than that. And I can't see where any tracking problems would come from. I mean, I'm not moving, and lighting is good. Yeah, this is. I'm just really not sure why it does this. Okay, one more problem to solve. But we'll solve it together. Together, we'll solve it. If I go over here. Yeah. I can't imagine what it's grabbing and releasing because I'm not moving. Everything is set properly. All right. Do I need to reset? Let's pause and reset. This is a bit ridiculous. How did we do? Seems better. When I was looking at the levels, it was tracking me. At one point I was just moving my head a little bit to the left and right, and it was saying I had over 120 degrees of rotation left and right. And that can't be right. My neck don't go that far. Work in progress, baby. You know it. Every day. Just living and learning. Trying to be better at whatever it is we do. Ooh. Stopping. Trying to get better at stopping. Okay, so face tracking is tracking. Okay. I need to make a little list. I might even get like a dry erase board of all the things I need to do before I start a video. Right, so that would be, I don't know how I feel about that. Pretty yellow to me. So that would be things like getting the face tracking zeroed. Although, to be fair, when I started it up, because you have to start, or at least in my case, I have to start the face tracking app before I start ETS2. When I started the face tracking app, it was tracking okay. That's why I started the ETS2 software. I wouldn't have started it if I thought it was needing calibration. But still. Thought he was going to do me again right there. My drivers are leveling up, and we're definitely making money. Liking that. Take a look outside. Yeah, I'm happier with that color. It's not perfect, but I'll take another crack at it tonight. Tweak it a little bit. Here we go. Head out on the highway. Don't need to stop and get fuel, not with these tanks that we have on here, when we're only going, I say only, I mean, it's a ways. But we've got plenty of fuel for that. So, get out on the highway and I'll talk at you a little bit. And this is yielding, giving way, right. I don't know if we're going back through Paris or if we're going kind of around it. This PACCAR motor is, it's different. It makes power, I feel, it makes power further up the rev range than some of the other motors do. So I've gotten used to, or tried to get used to, shifting earlier, and I feel like with the PACCAR we don't need to shift as early because we won't run out of torque when it gets above about 1500. I think is the cutoff for a lot of the engines. This one seems to hold a bit longer, but it's taking us out of our eco range when it does that, and we're trying to conserve fuel. I need to, that's another thing, that's another question I have. Another thing that I've never fully understood. I feel sometimes like when I'm braking and downshifting, I feel there are times when the momentum of the truck sort of holds and carries the truck forward as we're braking, and there are other times the revs drop off and it's like it forces it to neutral and we don't have any engine braking. And when that's the case, rather than the truck taking longer to stop because we don't have engine braking, I feel like it just runs out of momentum and stops very suddenly. So I don't know where I'm at with that. Like all things video game, I don't know if I'm causing it, if it's an accurate depiction of something that happens in real life, or if it's just a broken game. Alright, hook the curb. Hopefully I didn't hook the box. Just the wheels. Alright. Here we go. Here we go, proper. We've been going for a minute now. Get on the highway. Alright. Find some trucks here. See, are we fast passing? I think we might be. Right, so Reshade and Sweet FX, for the moment, I'm pleased with it. Okay, no damage. For the moment, I'm pleased with it. We'll see. Nothing's ever good enough. Nothing's ever right when it comes to the way my games are set up, so I'm sure I'll be tweaking it and possibly taking it out. Let me get us on cruise control, and I'll do another before and after. I know some of the presets and some of the packages are really just obviously drastically exaggerated from real life. Looking at my keyboard, you know I am. I feel like this one is more subtle. So this is after. It's on right now. So after, before, after, before. To me, by comparison, that looks pretty washed out. That looks pretty flat. So, but I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things that once you see it, you sort of can't unsee it. So, is this too exaggerated? I don't think it is. I think it's fairly subtle, at least compared to some of the other packages, like I said. So we'll see. And then I have the same thing going in Farm Sim, different setup, obviously, because it's a different sim running on different technology, and everything is rendered in different APIs and etc., etc. So requires different presets. 5 hours. We're not going to make it. Should have stopped right there. Should have looked a minute sooner. We could have stopped right there and slept. Although, then again, it would be starting in the dark after we sleep. Let me also see how long this job. 19 hours, yeah, so we're fine if we sleep. But now we have to get to a place to sleep, and I hope I didn't just drive past the one we should have slept at. The one that got away, as they say. What else is going on? I can't remember. There was something else to do with graphics. Something else that was on my mind, but I can't remember. Alright. Well, we'll just keep going and hope that we get another place to sleep in the next hour and a half. Drifting. So it's Sunday morning here, and I wanted to get up and get these knocked out first thing. I'm going to do this video, then I'm going to do a farm video, and then later today I have a big race video that I'm going to record. And it's going to be, if you've been watching my race videos, you know I'm trying to do challenging enduring racing. Really enduring racing. Been trying to do challenging endurance races. And the thing about challenging is there's no guarantees. Like, you really have to focus. I don't just want to do races where I win every single one, but I also don't want to set things up so they're so difficult that I never win. I just want it to be kind of natural, I guess. Like any race that I set up, I want there to be a reasonable possibility of me finishing well or winning, but no guarantees. If you watched Formula 1 from China yesterday, we all knew who was supposed to win, both by driver and by manufacturer. We knew who was supposed to win, and that didn't happen, and there was some this is really frustrating for me and for you. So when we get up here to park, I'll reset it again. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know why this is happening or what I can do to stop it, other than turning it off, which is becoming a real possibility. we're going to pull up here and sleep, and then we'll start again. It will be dark, unfortunately. See if there's a space over here to pull in, get some sleep. So I want to set up races that are difficult enough to be interesting, difficult enough to be challenging, but not so difficult that there's just zero possibility of me ever winning. And then, of course, avoid the exact opposite as well. So I think the one that I've set up, I'm not going to tell you anything about it. You know I like a big reveal. And that's about right. Perfect. Right. So set the brake. Turn the parking lights on because it's going to be dark when we wake up. Before I do this, I'm going to... No, I'm not. Let's just sleep. See how things are when we wake up. Fantastic. A nighttime video. Hop back inside. Yeah, I haven't moved side to side. I'll reset it again. And I apologize. And then the other thing is, every time I go out of the sim now, every time I go out of ETS2, it stops the recording. Right. All right. Here we go. So what I'm saying is I have to like sew this together from 3. Well, at the moment from 3 videos. I'll have to edit it together, which is not a big deal. Not the end of the world. So I've got a big race planned. This is going to sound completely mental, but I've got a couple hundred practice laps in at the track that I'm going to be racing on, in the car that I'm going to be driving. Yeah, I think face tracking is not quite ready for prime time. When it works well, but like right now, this is just absolute BS. It's making for a terrible video. It's making me sick. I know it's making you sick. And I have no idea why it's happening. Like right there, that was me actually moving my head. But everything else has been just tracking errors. Right? So like right now, yeah, right now it's so to the left it's fine. At the moment to the right it's fine. I don't know, how far do we have? Another 10 minutes or so. We're just gonna tough it out. I'm stubborn that way. You know me. We'll just get to Roscoff and call it. And then next video, I don't know. Maybe we'll have it on, maybe we'll have it off. I don't know. I want it to work more than anything. I hate to give up on things. And while we're talking about giving up on things, let's do another before and after comparison. So we have Reshade running right now. It's on. And that's off. That's on. And that's off. I think it looks better with Reshade on in the daylight, but I think I almost prefer the other one. Hard to say. Hard to say. I'm super quiet right now because I'm trying not to move my head. That's really what you're looking for in face tracking. It's the kind that requires you to be completely still. And the other thing that's interesting, is that the right word? What's his name again? The other thing that's interesting is, as I'm making these videos, I'm continuing to think like, what is it that we're trying to do here? What is it that we're trying to accomplish? I think the gameplay is a component of it, but I realize that also how I engage with you is a part of it too. If it was just the gameplay, and there are YouTubers that do this, they just play the game and it's either silent, just game sound, or some of them have music, and they don't talk at all. And then there are others that have almost no gameplay and it's a lot of talking. So I feel like how we engage is part of the process. Like that's part of why you're here. And I'm not saying I don't like struggling. I don't think you like seeing me struggle, but I know if you play these games and if you mod them, a big part of working with the game is, for lack of a better word, like keeping it operating, keeping it running. So I guess the reason that I haven't stopped the video is, to me, when I say, a video of me gaming, this is me gaming. Like there's times when it goes super, super smooth. I can tell you right now, Project Cars 2 and Train Sim World both run for me with no drama, no crashes, no errors, no nothing. Everything is, I know I'm speeding, everything is just super awesome. But I don't have a single mod for either one of them. They're both just vanilla. Farm Simulator 2017, to be more specific, is very stable right now. I have a lot of mod equipment, but I don't have a lot of, well, no, I take that back. I do have a lot of game mods, like things that actually change the gameplay. I do have a lot, but it's 100% stable. And then ETS2 is the least stable sim that I'm running right now, and it's also the one with the most aggressive mods. So I will say this over and over, we do this to ourselves, but to me the struggling and trying to fix things and keep the Millennium Falcon running, to me that's an aspect of gaming. So when I leave it in the video, I guess that's what I'm doing. Is if you want to see a video of me gaming, that's part of me gaming. That's something that I have to do when I'm simming. Fortunately, it's not, if I spent more time fixing the game than playing it, I think I would have to shut it down Gordon Ramsay style. But that's not the case. For the most part, they do run. It's just, like I said, every now and then you get into this rut where then that happened. Alright. Clearly there's something right about there that the AI doesn't like. Now, now we seem to be tracking just fine. I don't get it. Every now and then you get in a rut where it just seems like the game is fighting you. Just constantly fighting you for a while. And if and when you get everything sorted out, You could be good for another week. You could be good for another month. But it's always, to me, it's always kind of a mystery when that's going to happen. When you're going to just suddenly. Now I feel fortunate in that I'm not having game crashes. I'm just having kind of some ticky-tack stuff. But whatever. I leave it in because it's part of what I think of as my gaming life, I guess. Right, so this didn't take too awful long. We'll get this dropped off and then take a quick look at the map and see if we can find anything heading down to Bilbao. Then I'm going to hop out of here. I'm going to do a quick farm vid, and I think that's going to be about it for me for gaming for Sunday. I tend to take Sundays off from gaming, or from recording at least. I might game for myself a little bit, but man, and I think I just said this. I have a fear of repeating myself. I don't like saying the same thing twice, and I don't mean, get the papers. I don't mean that sort of thing. I mean, like telling the same story twice, or telling the same joke twice, or something. Forgetting that I told you a joke and telling you the same joke again. So I think I may have said this in another video, but it's weird to me that since I started doing this, there are days when, prior to this, I only ever gamed for fun. So it's weird to think that there are days when I'm like, oh, sorry, I can't come watch hockey with you guys. I gotta record another video. I had some problems and I didn't get my video done today. I can't start my evening till I get this video done, and at that point it's not work. It's definitely not work. But I'm not gaming for fun at that point. I'm gaming because I have I guess an obligation. And we're trying to keep it pretty consistent. I've made a commitment to sort of X amount of volume and output, and I want to stick with that. Mostly the goal is to get to 100 videos on the channel, compare the quality of the first one and the 100th one, make any adjustments as necessary, and then do another 100. And when we get to 200, see how the channel is growing, see if there's any growth that we can track and recognize as pointing in a good direction. Yes, this is what it is that we're trying to do, and yes, we're moving in that direction. Chance to test my face tracking. No traffic. Wait. What? Alright. So frustrated right now, I'm just going to pull out into traffic. Come on. Right. Yeah, frustration level is just about to max out. And I will hop into the tracking software itself. I'll hop on some forums and I'll see what's causing this. If I can find it, I'll fix it. If I can't find it, I'm going to have to disable it. Too frustrating at the moment. And for what I get back for it, at least in farm sim, this isn't farm sim, it's the other one, truck sim. The only thing that I was looking for was that we would just come back to center after we looked off to the side, because as it was, used my right thumbstick to look off to the side, and there was no way to recenter it exactly. I could bring it back in sort of approximately, but it wasn't, you know, it was off by a little bit, left, right, up, down, and that always sort of threw my turning. I couldn't feel exactly where the truck was if it hadn't come back to that 0 point. So this helped, because it did come back to the 0 point and it didn't snap back, which I was also not thrilled with every time it did that. But what we're giving up, I think, when it starts jittering and bouncing all around like that, making everybody sick, what we're giving up is not worth what we're getting. So if I can fix it, I'll fix it. If I can't fix it, it's got to go on the shelf for a minute. And I know I'm technically in the fast lane, but this is a pretty dense area. It's not exactly a freeway, so even though I'm in the passing lane, it's not exactly the passing lane. Right, hopefully, almost just missed it. Same place we had to park on our last delivery. Same company, same spot. Same trailer right next to it. Okay. Right. I'm going outside. I can't deal with the head tracking tonight. All right, see how we did. Better. We like that. 30K. Good points. Folks, thank you so much for stopping back to check out The Portable Gamer. Thanks for joining us for another episode of European Truck Simulator 2, and we'll see you soon. Take care now.